When you understand your worth, you shift the entire energy in a relationship. You're no longer chasing validation or seeking constant approval. Instead, you become the one who sets the standard for how you want to be treated. This confidence doesn't come from a loud declaration or constant reminders to those around you. It's quiet, it's unshakable, and it's something that radiates from within. When you know your worth, you don't need to constantly prove it to others. Your actions will speak louder than words ever could. There's a quiet power that comes with self awareness, a sense of security in who you are and what you bring to the table. This doesn't mean you are perfect or that you figured it all out, but it means you're at peace with yourself. You accept your strengths, your flaws, your growth, and your journey. This inner peace is magnetic. It draws people in, but it also repels those who don't value or respect what you stand for. What happens when you know your worth is that you stop tolerating disrespect. You stop allowing people to treat you in ways that don't align with the respect you've cultivated for yourself. You begin to realize that your time, your emotions, and your energy are valuable, and you deserve someone who can see that too. There's no need to chase anyone who isn't willing to meet you at the same level. You become selective, not out of arrogance, but out of self respect. This internal shift transforms your relationships, both with men and with everyone in your life. When a man sees that you know your worth, he begins to value your presence, your time, and your energy. He can feel the strength behind your self awareness, and he understands that your time is not something that can be taken for granted. It's important to recognize that knowing your worth also means being in tune with your own needs and desires. You don't just settle for anything less than what aligns with your goals and your happiness. You set boundaries and make decisions from a place of self respect rather than from desperation or fear of being alone. When you know your worth, you're no longer afraid to walk away from situations that don't serve you. And this in turn commands respect. In relationships, this mindset creates a foundation built on trust, mutual respect, and understanding. Men value women who are grounded in their own identity. When you can confidently stand in who you are, you attract those who can match that energy. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. And when you show up as your authentic, self-assured self, you naturally draw on the right people who will appreciate your value without hesitation. Ultimately, knowing your worth isn't about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about accepting yourself fully and setting the standard for how you expect to be treated. When you step into this power, it changes the way people see you. You no longer need to convince anyone of your value, they see it for themselves. And that's when true respect and genuine connection begin to flourish. This is how you start to make men value you, not by demanding it, but by quietly radiating the confidence that comes from knowing who you truly are. Setting boundaries is often seen as an act of strength, but many people perceive it as a sign of weakness or even selfishness. In reality, establishing boundaries is an essential part of respecting yourself and commanding the respect of others. When you set boundaries, you're showing that you know where you stand and that you're not willing to compromise your values, time, or emotional energy for anyone who doesn't respect them. It's not just about saying no, it's about communicating clearly and standing firm on what you're willing to accept and what you're not. When you set boundaries, you're declaring what's acceptable and what isn't, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. This can be with your time, your energy, your emotional space, or even with the type of conversations you're willing to engage in. When people understand that you have boundaries and that you're serious about enforcing them, they start to view you differently. They begin to see you as someone who values themselves, and they start treating you with more respect. When you don't set boundaries, people often take your time and energy for granted because they know you'll always be available for giving no matter what. But once you set clear boundaries, it becomes harder for people to push you around, and they start to value your presence much more. This doesn't mean that you have to be rigid or unyielding with your boundaries. You can still be kind and empathetic, but you also need to make it clear that your well-being comes first. Setting boundaries doesn't make you less caring. It actually shows that you respect yourself enough to demand the same level of respect from others. It's a powerful act. that shows you are not desperate for anyone's validation, and it commands the respect of the people around you. When you start implementing boundaries, you'll find that it changes the way men view you. They'll start to see you as someone who knows what she wants, someone who is confident and secure in herself. And once they recognize that you're not afraid to stand up for yourself and protect your energy, they start to value your time and effort much more. Boundaries are like a silent code of respect that you set for yourself and others. And when people see you upholding those boundaries consistently, they understand that your time is precious and it forces them to take you more seriously. But this isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about protecting yourself and making it clear that you are not available to anyone who isn't willing to meet you at the level of respect you've set. By setting boundaries, you show the world that you value yourself enough to demand respect. And that kind of energy is magnetic. People start to treat you differently because they can sense that you are not willing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And that kind of self-assurance is what makes men truly value you. When you master the art of independence, you unlock a powerful level of self-respect and self-worth that cannot be shaken by anyone or anything. It's about standing on your own 2 feet emotionally, financially, and mentally, and being content with your own company. When you don't rely on someone else for validation, happiness, or fulfillment, you become a magnet for respect and admiration. This type of independence isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being so comfortable in your own skin that you don't need anyone to complete you or validate your worth.